I trusted him and he broke me, but Riley, my best friend, helped me heal. Then I found out she was secretly seeing him. Losing him hurt, but losing her hurt more. I met him when I was 25. It was at a friend's birthday dinner, the kind of thrown together group thing where no one knows half the table. He was across from me, witty, low-key, annoyingly attractive. We talked the entire night. He texted me before I even got home. By the third date, I thought, this one's different. I wasn't wrong, just not in the way I hoped. She was one of the first people to meet him. Her verdict? Hot, charming, dangerous if you're not careful. She always had instincts like that. I should have listened, but I wanted to believe this time was going to be easy. And Riley, for all her eye-rolling, never told me not to go for it. We were together for 2 years. There were no screaming matches, no cheating, just constant confusion, hot and cold. Deep late-night talks followed by 2 days of emotional distance. Promises that never turned into plans. Affection that always came. When I was pulling away, never when I needed it most. Riley saw it, all of it, and she said, "He's not a bad guy. He's just a lazy one." I asked him if he still loved me, not because I wanted reassurance, but because I already knew, and he said, "I don't know." That was it. I packed a bag, slept at Riley's for a week, told everyone we were done. It wasn't dramatic, it just hurt. She cooked. She sat with me. She scrolled through my texts so I wouldn't spiral. She said, "He didn't leave because you weren't enough. He left because he never had the guts to admit you were too much for him." I believed her. She made it feel survivable, like I hadn't just wasted 2 years trying to love someone who couldn't meet me halfway. 3 months later, he texted, "You crossed my mind. Hope you're okay." Riley saw it first, snatched my phone out of my hand. "You are not doing this again." She deleted it for me, and I let her. Because I trusted her more than I trusted myself at that point. That summer felt like rehab. We went out every weekend, got day drunk on patios, wrote rules for men on bar napkins, went dancing, sang in Ubers like we were 19 again. I started to feel like me again, the version that existed before him, and Riley made me feel like that version deserved to come back. We saw him outside a brewery one night. He was alone. On his phone, looked thinner, tired. Riley looked at me, raised an eyebrow, and said, "Let's go be hot over there instead." She dragged me to another bar, bought us both shots. It felt like closure, the kind you don't get from a conversation. Week later, Riley texted me a screenshot. It was from him, reacting to one of her Instagram stories. Fire emoji under a mirror selfie. She captioned it, "Desperate much?" I laughed, brushed it off, but I felt something twist in my stomach, something I didn't want to name. 2 weeks later, she bailed on dinner, said she had a date. Someone new. From Hinge, I told her to text me after and let me know how it went. She never did, because there was no Hinge guy. That was the night it started. I just didn't know it yet. She started dressing differently. Riley always had style, but suddenly, it was more polished, strategic, like she was trying to impress someone. Like she cared what one specific pair of eyes thought. I joked about it once. "Who are you getting hot for lately?" And she just smirked. You never know who you'll run into. Something about that answer landed wrong. I saw his name pop up on her phone. Not a message, just a notification banner while she was holding it. She swiped it away fast. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Because if I asked and she lied, I'd have to live with knowing she lied. And if she told the truth, I wasn't sure I was ready to hear it. He followed her on Instagram again. I noticed it during a 2 a.m. scroll, casually checking his profile like I still sometimes did. There it was, her name under his followers list. I checked mine. He hadn't re-followed me. So she knew, and said nothing. Riley stopped talking about dating. She used to tell me everything, even the boring stuff. Now she changed the subject. Got vague when I asked if she was seeing anyone. Just playing it low-key these days. But her eyes darted every time she said it, and I realized I hadn't heard her say the word Hinge in over a month. We ran into him again, It was random. At a new bar downtown with a group. He was there, alone. He looked surprised. She didn't. They barely spoke, barely made eye contact, too little, too careful, and when we left, she didn't bring it up once. I did something I'd never done before. I checked her phone while she was in the bathroom. Just one message thread, one look. It wasn't graphic, no sexts, just casual, easy conversation, familiar, intimate, like two people who knew they were doing something wrong and were trying to keep it light enough to lie to themselves. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed replaying every conversation, every night she'd bailed, every Instagram story she posted with her face a little too made up. I tried to picture them together. I couldn't. But the fact that I was even trying told me everything I needed to know. The next morning I asked her, "Are you talking to anyone right now?" She blinked, then said, "Kinda. Yeah. Why?" I nodded, heart in my throat. "Anyone I know?" She paused. "Too long. No one serious. We had brunch that Sunday." She was quiet, nervous. I pretended not to notice. Pretended to still be the girl who cried on her couch over him. Let her believe I was still fragile, still blind. Meanwhile, I was watching her like a stranger. Every word, every fake laugh, every way she avoided meeting my eyes, I checked his Instagram again. New post, a soft launch style photo, 2 drinks on a table, 1 hand visible, her ring. I recognized it instantly. We bought it at a flea market last fall. She'd called it the most me thing ever. She was right. And now I knew for sure, they weren't just talking. They were together. I didn't plan it. It just came out. We were sitting in my apartment, eating takeout, half watching a show, and I said quietly, "So, you and him." She blinked, mid-chew. "What?" I put my fork down. "I know." She went still. Not defensive, not shocked, just still. Then she said, "How long have you known?" That was it. No denial. No, "What are you talking about?" Because she knew I knew. And worse, I think she was relieved it was finally out. I asked when it started. She said, "A couple months ago." I asked if it had started when she told me she had that Hinge date. She looked at the floor. Didn't answer. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. Instead, I just sat there, arms crossed, pulse in my ears. I asked, "Why?" And she said the one thing I wasn't prepared to hear. I didn't plan for it. It just happened. She started explaining that they reconnected by accident, that it started as just talking, that he apologized for everything, told her he'd grown, changed, woke up, that she believed him, that maybe she wanted to believe him, for herself. And then she looked me in the eyes and said, "I didn't mean for it to hurt you." I laughed. Out loud. It was a broken, bitter sound I barely recognized. "You didn't mean for it to hurt me? Riley, you listened to me sob over him. You knew exactly how it would hurt." She looked away, said nothing. Then came the part that made me want to throw something. She said, "I think part of me resented how much space you gave him, even after he left. That hit like a punch. You were so good to him, even when he didn't deserve it." And I kept thinking, why does she save all that softness for him? I didn't even know what that meant. Only that it sounded like an excuse and a confession. She tried to say she still loved me, that she was sorry, that she didn't expect me to understand, but she didn't want to lose me over this. And the terrifying thing was, part of me didn't want to lose her either. I asked if she loved him. She hesitated, then said, "Not like you did." And I realized that made it worse, because it wasn't even love that made her do this. It was something smaller, grayer, pettier, and that made it feel cheap. I didn't scream. I didn't demand she leave. I just nodded and said, "You already lost me. You just didn't notice until now." And when she left, she looked like she wanted to say something else. But I closed the door before she could. I didn't tell anyone for a few days, not out of shame, just because I didn't want to hear the echo. I didn't want to hear my own words spoken back at me, didn't want pity, didn't want outrage. I just wanted quiet. Even though quiet hurt, too. Riley didn't text, not the next day, not the day after. And somehow that was worse than if she had, because it meant she knew there was nothing left to say. He messaged me, 3 lines. I know you know. I'm sorry, I didn't handle it right. I didn't respond, because what do you even say to that? Thanks for confirming you're exactly who I feared you were. Mutual friends started noticing the shift. Someone asked why Riley and I weren't hanging out anymore. I gave the safest answer I could. We grew apart. It wasn't a lie, just incomplete, like everything had been with her in the end. One friend, the brave one, asked if it had anything to do with my ex. I looked at her for a second too long. She didn't press, but she didn't ask again either. Saw a post on his story. It was them, together, low-key, her head on his shoulder. The caption said soft days. My chest got tight. I realized they weren't even sorry. They were just free. I blocked him, then her, not out of drama. Just maintenance, like deleting a contact you'll never call again, taking out garbage that started to smell. Grief is weird. It didn't hit all at once. It came in waves, a song, a restaurant, a photo from last summer. I'd forget for a moment that she was gone, and then remember, and hate remembering. I didn't forgive them, still haven't, and not because I want revenge or drama or closure, just because some things don't deserve to be forgiven. Some betrayals just get lived with. Sometimes I write a text to her, just to see the words, I miss you. You really broke me. Why wasn't I enough to protect? Then I delete it, because if I've learned anything, it's this. Not everyone who says they love you will choose you, and I'm done confusing loyalty with silence. Update. Hey again. Wasn't planning to post this. I thought I left the whole thing behind. But it's been a few months, and for anyone who read the original, yeah, I'm still working through it. No, we haven't spoken. Not her. Not him. They're still together, as far as I can tell. I don't check anymore, but people send me things sometimes. It doesn't hurt the way it used to. Not like glass in your stomach hurt. Now it's duller, quieter, but it's still there, like scar tissue. Thick, numb, always reminding you something tore once. I've made new friends. I'm dating again, slowly, cautiously. But the worst part is I still second-guess myself. Still hear that voice asking, how did you not see it? I don't have a big ending here. I just needed to say out loud, you can miss someone who destroyed you. You can still love them in the small, quiet corners, and you can still decide they're not allowed in your life anymore. Both things can be true. Anyway, thanks for reading. Still healing, still standing.